Hello, welcome back. I'm Brendan Lee. In this video, I want to talk to you about what I think is one major barrier to getting what you want in life or getting what you want out of life. This comes from my own, taking a look at, I've worked with many apprentices that have come through here. I have been an apprentice myself for many, many years. Which is a very serious undertaking. I did that when I was a young man, started at age, I think, 19. And I did these long programs, literally like a live-in apprenticeship with a guy who did martial arts at first. I was doing lots of martial arts there. But it was like you might think of in the olden days where, the apprentice goes and studies with the master, quote unquote, the teacher. You live with the teacher, you're around in close proximity to a teacher. And they, help you grow up in the ways that you need to grow up or help you learn, maybe a little different type of schooling that they still have, like they have apprenticeships. Apprenticeships is a thing, but, it's kind of like that. So my point is, in the apprenticeship program, there would be somebody that would be on you and telling you what to do and giving you feedback, and then when you leave the program, you have nobody to tell you what to do. You have nobody who's on your ass, nobody who's going to call you out, nobody who's going to stay on you and remind you to do the things that you need to do. So, as Peter would mention, when their students, they had apprentice trainers, and in the level 1 apprenticeship program, and in the level 2 apprenticeship program, there was no more apprentice trainer. That's when you had to become your own apprentice trainer. Which is to say, hold yourself accountable to the things that you want to do. So I think probably this video is about accountability and holding yourself accountable. And it seems like one of the biggest barriers is that. For example, when I'm, if you think about people, where they're at and then where they want to go, oftentimes from the outside, it's easy to see, say somebody else, okay, here's somebody, they want to quit smoking. To me, it's a simple choice. You stop bringing the cigarette to your mouth and it's over. And then but from that person's perspective, it's not that easy. From the outside, it's simple act. This act stops, you no longer do that, but then there's all this other turmoil that's driving the action, that if they were to stop the action, and Peter's made a video about this, or this has made it into a video, all that emotional turmoil would come to the fore if they stop the action. They can't deal with that. And then perhaps a simpler way, say somebody in life, they want to lose weight. The act is simple. Eat less, exercise more. Calories come in, less calories come in, that go out, the body will shrink. It's a fact. It's hard to get around that. And so the act is simple, but then what goes on for the person is more challenging, and then so they don't take the action. And so what am I saying with this? Let me see, what did I really want to say? I really wanted to say that I think one of the biggest barriers for people in general is they have that project that they know they need to do, and I've done this myself. It's like procrastination. I know I need to work X hours on a project, but instead of working on this project, I drink a beer. I work on another project that's not that. I prioritize something else that's not getting that thing done, and then lo and behold, that thing, the time stacks up, and I don't do it, and then you see, it's that barrier. Or there's this guy, Jim Rohn, I believe his name was, and he was the big mentor to Tony Robbins. I'm sure you've heard of Tony Robbins. Well, some of you maybe not. And Jim Rohn would say, he had this way of speaking that was quite fun to listen to. I listened to some of his stuff after I looked it up. And he's like, it's much easier to not do the things you need to do than it is to do the things you need to do. It's easier to not do those things. It's easier to not. See, so it's easy to not do the stuff you know you need to do. So that's the barrier. I don't have a real name for that threshold. We could create a name, I don't know, in this case, the barrier, but whatever you want to call that phenomena that seems to happen within human experience where the people that really make it, as far as I can tell, somebody who I know is very important to me might be like, well, that's just anecdotal evidence. Okay, it might be. But it seems to me, just watching people, watching myself, watching the problems and the challenges that people have, that one barrier, glass ceiling, that wall, whatever you want to call that place where people who learn to self-operate and they can hold themselves accountable and they can do the things that need to be done and they do them. They just get them done. Those people can, and then consistently over time and then effectively, so there's a bunch of other factors there, but those people that don't have a problem with that barrier, overcoming that, as far as I can tell, they're much more successful in whatever they're doing. It could be anything. The people that live on the other side of that wall where it's just about serving me and serving my comfort and serving, well, I don't really want to do it, or I've got a story about why I can't do it, I'm just not good enough, or I had this traumatic experience when I was in middle school, and then I thought about this, and I got this weird thing, and or some emotional resistance, or whatever the case may be. Staying on the other side of that barrier means that I am serving something that is not that job. And as far as I can tell, the job is like a little bit outside of myself. And the places where this shows up, for example, my teacher, mentor, / business partner, Peter Ralston, he is one of those people that is gifted or cursed, you could, whatever way you want to say that or see that, with an ability to, if something needs to be done, it gets put on the schedule, there's a note, there's an action that needs to be taken, it's done, it's good. It's just boom, 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 boom. He's never had a problem with self-motivating, or taking action now in those areas. And so then it's not an issue. Now, I've talked to many other people. These are people that have come to me, shameless plug for coaching, or interested in some of the work that I do, so come check it out, links in the description. Some other people, they talk to me about, well, how do I motivate myself? Or it seems like, and I am likely one of these characters or people that falls under this category of it's useful for somebody like me to have somebody else who I talk to, who I operate with. That like an accountability partner, for example, or other people who are in my life that help hold me accountable or will call me out or will give me feedback, things like that, as I grow in strength in this ability to self-operate. Because as you can see, like for example, right now, it's me here. And I have a place out back, but it's mostly me running my own business or growing my own business, and then also, like if we're speaking specifically about my own personal projects, it's just me. There's nobody telling me, hey, do this, really. And that has been one of my biggest challenges. Now, the good news is things are trainable. The mind is trainable. And the other good news is, I have a couple people in my life, or several, that are good friends. And what I mean by good friends is they don't support my bullshit. They support me. They'll give me feedback. Or I'll say, hey, I'm going to get this done by next week, and then I get it done by next week because now I'm accountable to somebody else. So my story aside, what I'm trying to say with this is the places where I see that people are a little bit forced to rise to the occasion is when they're held accountable to others. Like I have people, friends I know, like they've got kids. Now their life is no longer their own. Their life is sacrificed to another human. They have got to rise to the occasion, or they could be a shitty parent, but in this case they're not. But that means their life is no longer their own. They have to sacrifice themselves for the job. You see what the job in this case is, the child or the kid or infant or whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? Or I've been listening to a podcast recently, and now there's like people who start a business. Now, a business, they say they have a product, but they sell that product to whom? A bunch of people. So now there's all these people they're accountable to. They are very motivated to get that stuff done because it's no longer about them anymore. It's about the job, the product, the service, the business, or whatever. You see, it's like outside of their internally focused self. I also experience stuff like this when I'm about to do workshops that's coming up soon. It's like I serve the workshop as best I can. And then it's not about me, it's about the work. Or there's this other guy, Andrew Huberman, I caught him on a podcast saying, like, he's apparently got lots of tattoos, and he's like, no, I don't really like showing the tattoos, and when I'm doing lectures, I'm paraphrasing, it's like, I don't even really like to be seen. I like the work to be seen. I was like, he gets it. He knows, it's not about him, it's about the work. So so these are examples of places where people do. It's like they perform the job, they get it done. But that still does not really explain, as far as I can tell, how to overcome that barrier. I think that's the rub. Now I don't think I can tell you how to overcome the barrier, or maybe I can tell you how, it's just not going to be an easy thing to do. It's not necessarily easy. And as far as I can tell, overcoming that barrier is deciding that you are going to do the things you need to do, not what you want to do, as if. Or it's like, I want to lose weight, but then there's this other part that wants something else, and it's like, which do you choose? Or Tony Robbins tells a story about he hit rock bottom, and he was in a bathtub in his shitty apartment, and he had bottomed out, and he really wasn't happy, and he said, you know what, that's fucking it. I'm doing this now. And then that's a clear decision, and now the action is clear. But then is there any way that I can get you to arrive at a decision like that? As far as I can tell, no. I could strongly encourage you to decide to do what you want to do. I could say take a stand for what you want and know that you can make a change like that. For example, I made a change when it comes to money because I did dumb things with my money. Okay, sometimes I still do dumb things with money. But I'm much more wise about where I put my money than prior. And I decided at one point, the way I'm going, no more. This is over. And so, boom, the new action becomes the thing, not my fucking bullshit. So then, again, or another place where I struggle, it's like, say I have projects or like the YouTubes that I create here, I have to do them weekly. It's just something that I created myself. And some of the stuff that I've run into that seems challenging about that is like, I'm alone. So maybe I'm lonely. Nobody is praising me. Nobody is saying, hey, good job, you did a video. It's like, I'm just here. Now, it does help when I get comments on the videos or I see the subscriber count going up. These things help spur me on. Or when somebody says, hey, your video did me some good, I'm like, oh, great, that's awesome. You see, and that helps, boost me or boost my morale. But when I'm recording or creating, I'm just sitting alone. And for somebody who maybe has challenges with loneliness or it's not comfortable, so then what do? Well, I do the videos anyway. And yet this is a struggle. Another struggle, it might be like, well, maybe I don't feel up for the video today or something like that. I don't feel up for it. And it's like, well, then, I don't feel like working out. Well, what do? One thing I did was I started working to associate not the feeling that I had before doing the thing, but what did I feel like after I'm done doing the thing? And I intentionally bring that feeling to mind at the beginning. How am I going to feel when this is done? Oh, okay, good. Then it's like as if remembering, why am I doing the thing, get it done, and then afterward, yes, I do have that good feeling. And as I start to rewire my brain, hint, hint, see, that's training, rewiring how you think, how you feel, how you relate to things, so that then shooting the video becomes more of a thing to do. For example, I'm using my own examples to help bring this to the fore in the video, obviously. Yeah? And then after a while it becomes a habit and it gets easier, but not at the beginning. Same with my money. It was like really weird at first, and and I'm the only one doing it, and there's nobody telling me what to do. This is another barrier I think people run into. It's like, oh, I don't have somebody telling me what to do. Correct. You have to square with telling yourself what to do. You have to square with not getting any reward right away even. So especially with things like losing weight or gaining muscle mass or probably building a project, like I'm working on a build project right now, is this delayed gratification, doing lots of work consistently over time with no immediate reward. This is a challenge. And you see, so getting over this wall, I think, is what separates the men from the boys, the women from the girls, or what have you, okay? The people that make accomplishments from just not. You know, it seems to me it's much easier to have somebody else tell me what to do, and then I can do it. For example, most people have a job that they go to 9 to 5, and it makes it very easy when you have somebody else structuring your day, and then you plug your time and energy into that structure. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying it's easier to do it that way rather than to create your own structure. That seems much harder. Why? I don't know. But then one key component, as far as I can tell, to getting success in that area is, again, overcoming this barrier to self-motivate. I don't really like using the word motivating, but self-motivating, getting the stuff done myself, getting shit done, doing the job. See, when nobody is telling me what schedule, because I also, again, when I'm off duty, so to speak, I create my own schedule, and I learned over time, and this was for me paying attention, like what do I do and how do I feel about it? I learned that I feel better when I work during the day. I used to fuck off during the day. Now I don't do that so much. Because I realize that when I work, when I create something, when I put myself to a task, it's like I feel more accomplished for myself. So then during the day, it's like, oh no, that's work time, and I had to create that. That's the challenge. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to impart here. It's like you have to create what you want. You have to put yourself to the task. You have to, one, you have to decide that is something you want to do, and then two, you've got to do it. No matter what, if you want it. Or you can do something else, like go get a beer, or take it easy, or eat the food that just feels so good to eat, or whatever. You see, that is an option. But I'm just saying this, overcoming this obstacle seems to be an empowering thing to do. And if you want to do it, you can do it. It's not the easy road. So now I want to close this down. I can't tell you how to do that except that you will do it if that's something you want. You must decide. That is how you do that. You, the listener, or me, whatever, whomever, decides that that is worth taking a stand for above everything else, and then you do it. See, like, again, another story or perhaps some anecdotal evidence. I was flipping through YouTube, and there's this, bodybuilder guy. I'm not saying I follow this bodybuilder. He just popped up, and I clicked on the video for whatever reason. And it's Chris Bumstead, apparently a famous bodybuilder. I really know nothing about him other than what I think I've seen. And he's talking about bodybuilding, and he said eventually, it's like you do the same thing it's not a glorious life. You see the rippling muscles, you see the results, like the amazing results. In this world, it's muscles, and whatever other world, it could be money or status or what, you see the result, the house or the product or the innovation or whatever, right? You see the result, but you don't see all the hard work that backs it up. And in this case, for this person or for myself training martial arts in here, it's boring. It's the same thing every day, plodding along consistently over time, every day, most all day, just doing the thing like a clock. That gets those things built. And that, in this video Chris was mentioning, Yeah, well, my friends, they eventually stopped asking me to go hang out because they'd ask me if I wanted to go hang out. I was like, no, I can't do it. They asked me, can I go to a restaurant with you? It's like, well, I'll go to a restaurant, but I can't eat the food. Can you come have a beer? Nope, I'm very strict with the diet. So they just eventually stopped calling him to come out. I hear tell in his video, right? What kind of a life is that? Can you handle that life? That seems to be the reality of those kinds of things. Or the entrepreneur who is like grinding away day after day after day after day, taking huge financial risk, not seeing any reward, trying to solve that puzzle until finally they get it. But it's like that. Can you handle that consistent, boring existence that nobody gives a shit about? You're alone in it. And unless you create a team around you, which that's another thing you could do. See, but confronting that, being alone as if doing the things, if you can do that, now you're a cut above. You're much more empowered to do that. And as I just came up with in this previous statement just now, and I hope I can get this out before the battery runs out, is you can also bring people around you. Intentionally surround yourself with people who are going to raise you up, not bring you down. That is definitely one thing you can do as well. Okay? So, recap. Decide it's something worth doing. Do it. Surround yourself with other people that will help you if you can. If not, confront the boredom, the loneliness, having to do that consistently over time for yourself. And then make it happen. And that's how you do that. So there you go. Thanks very much. I'm Brendan Lee with thebrendanlee.com. Check the links in the description if you want to get serious. We do workshops here, not about what I was talking about in the video, but powerful events designed to get you more conscious or more skillful with your body. But anyway, check the links in the description. Otherwise, I've got a free course, paid course. Hire me to be an online coach. Check out the forum. If you want to, write to me, email me, shoot me in the comments, hit me in the comments, and take care. I hope this video has been useful. Please subscribe to the channel if it has. Otherwise, I'll catch you later. Love you. Bye.